Hello, welcome back to Learn Economia. We have already discussed Phillips curve. I have already given you a glimpse of what Phillips curve is in the previous video. So if you have not watched that video, I request you to go and watch the same because that is important to get an overall idea about the topic. In this video, we will be going into some more details of the Phillips curve. We will be looking into what Phillips curve means and what relation Phillips curve explains and so on in this video in a much more detailed manner. So having said so, let's come back and go to the video. Actually, in the previous video itself, we have already told that Phillips curve is a concept which was introduced by A.W. Phillips. When what he has done is that he has collected some empirical data regarding United Kingdom, the prevailing scenario of United Kingdom, and he had plotted it using this empirical evidence, and he could find an inverse relationship between the rate of change in money wages and rate of change in unemployment. Okay, and he explains that this kind of relationship is mainly because that workers are reluctant to offer their service at less than prevailing wage rate when the demand for labor is low and unemployment is high. As a result, the wage rate would fall very slowly. On the other hand, when unemployment is low, the rate of increase in money wage would be high, and this is mainly because when the demand for labor is high, and there would be few unemployed persons in the economy, and this is what our expectation is, right? As a result, the employer would be bidding the wage rates. As a result, the wage rate would could be up. It should go up, or it would go up quite rapidly. The second factor which influences this kind of relationship between the rate of change in money wage and the rate of change in unemployment is the nature of business activity. So if you consider the case of improving business activity, then you would see that unemployment would be falling with increase in demand for labor, and the employers will be bidding up the wages. On the other hand, in a period of falling business activity, the labor demand would be less and unemployment would be rising, and as a result, employers would be reluctant to grant the wage increases. So they would be reducing the wages, and both the workers and unions will be reluctant to accept wage cuts during any period, whether it is recession or depression. That doesn't matter. Labor union would be uh, reluctant to accept any wage cuts. As a result, the employers would be forced to dismiss workers, and thereby leading to higher rates of unemployment in the economy. Thus, when the labor market is depressed, a small reduction in the wages would be leading to large increase in unemployment. And as per Phillips, this kind of analysis or this kind of arguments is mainly uh, uh, would be this would create a non-linear relationship, and such a curve is known as Phillips, or such a curve when depicted is known as a Phillips curve. And not only Phillips, there have been many other economists like Lepsy, Friedman, etc. have contributed to the analysis of Phillips curve. And if you look at the figure, you can see that the rate of increase in money wages is higher than the growth rate of labor productivity. In this scenario, the prices would rise and vice versa. But the prices do not rise if the labor productivity increases at the same rate as the wage increase. Okay. Now, this trade-off between the inflation rate and unemployment rate, if you look at this curve, you will be understanding. You can assume that the labor productivity is just 2% per year, and the money wage increases at 2% per year. And in this case, the price level would remain constant. So now you would be at point C, point B, where the PC curve. In the PC curve, and the corresponding percentage increase in money wage is equal to 3%, and unemployment is equal to 3%. Okay, 0.2%. One is 0. Sorry, the in on point B here, the percentage change in money wages and percentage change in unemployment of 3%. This would be equal to 0% inflation rate. And you can see that now from B you move to point C. At C, what happens is that with the movement of the economy from B to C, unemployment falls to T. And if points B and C are connected, what you could get is the Phillips curve, and thus a money wage rate increase with excess labor productivity leads to inflation. And to keep the wage rate increased, to keep the wage increased to the level of labor productivity in order to avoid inflation, oil level of labor or uh, would remain unemployed, or oil rate of unemployment should be tolerated. The shape of the Phillips curve further suggests that when the unemployment rate is less than 5.5%, then the demand for labor is more than the supply, and this will lead to increase in the money wage rate. On the other hand, when the unemployment rate is more than 5%, the supply of labor would be more than demand, and this will lead to lower the wage rate. The implication is that the wage rate would be stable at the unemployment rate OA, and which is equal to 5.5% per annum. It is to be noted that the PC, or the Phillips curve, is the conventional or original downward sloping Phillips curve, which is a stable and inverse relation is established between the rate of change in unemployment and rate of change in wages. We have already seen that not only Phillips but also many other economists who have contributed to the concept of Phillips curve. There are contributions given by, there are contributions given by Friedman. So let's compare to the contributions, or let's deal with the contribution given by Friedman in a detailed manner. What Friedman has told is that there is, if you come to the case of long run Phillips curve, there is some kind of difference. So we know that there have been many economists which criticize the Phillips curve, the original Phillips curve, and they tried to modify the original Phillips curve. They argue that so if you come to the case of Friedman, you can see that as per him, Phillips curve led to the short run and it does not remain stable, and it shifts with changes in expectations of inflation. And if you go to the case of long run, there is no trade-off between inflation and employment or unemployment. In these kinds of views, it can be seen that this is known as the adaptive expectation hypothesis. It's by Friedman and Phelps, which is known as the Friedman-Phelps analysis. So as per Friedman, there is no need to assume a stable downward sloping Phillips curve in order to explain the trade-off between inflation and unemployment. As a result, you could see that this Phillips curve is just a short run phenomenon. You cannot have the original Phillips curve to remain in the long run. So in this case, you can see that there are certain variables which cause the Phillips curve to shift over time, and as a result, as a result of this expected rate of inflation, and so long as there is discrepancy between the expected rate and the actual rate of inflation, the downward sloping Phillips curve cannot be found. So in the long run, there exists the expected rate of inflation, and as a result of this expected rate of inflation, you cannot think of the original Phillips curve to remain in the long run. So when this discrepancy is removed over the long run, the Phillips curve becomes vertical. We can explain this. Friedman introduces, in order to explain this concept of the natural, in order to explain this long run Phillips curve, or Phillips curve which is vertical, or the Phillips curve as a result of expected rate of inflation, he has introduced a concept of natural rate of unemployment, and he represents the natural rate of unemployment as the unemployment which the economy experiences normally and settles because of its structural imperfections. And this unemployment rate is below which the inflation rate increases and above which the inflation rate decreases. And at this particular rate, there is neither a tendency for the inflation rate to increase or decrease. Okay. As a result, the natural rate of unemployment is defined at the rate of unemployment at which the actual rate of inflation equals the expected rate of inflation. And this is mainly because at the equilibrium rate of unemployment, this is this is something towards which the economy moves in the long run, the equilibrium rate of unemployment. So in the long run, what happens is that the Phillips curve becomes vertical at the natural rate of unemployment, and this natural or equilibrium unemployment rate is not fixed for all the time. As a result, it is determined by, you can see that it's determined by a number of structural characteristics of the labor market as well as the commodity market in the economy. There may be minimum wage laws, inadequate employment information, and deficiencies in manpower, training, cost of labor mobility. So not only this, there have been many other factors which influence the same. So as a result, you could see that the Phillips curve would change its shape. But what causes the Phillips curve to shift over time is the expected rate of inflation, as we have already told that. The expected rate of inflation is the main reason that leads to the vertical shape in the Phillips curve. And this refers to the extent of labor correctly forecast inflation, and this can adjust wages to the forecast. For this, you can assume that the economy is experiencing a mild rate of inflation of 2% or something, and the natural rate of unemployment is 2%. Okay, so then what experience the economy actually experiences is equal to the natural rate of unemployment. So if you look at the point A on the short-run Phillips curve SPC1 in the figure given here, at this point the people expect this rate of inflation to continue in the future. Now assume that the government adopts some kind of monetary fiscal program, a mix of monetary fiscal program, in order to raise aggregate demand in the economy, so as to lower the unemployment from 3 to 2%. Okay. So this kind of increase in the aggregate demand will raise inflation rate to 4%. And this is consistent with the unemployment rate of 2%. When the actual inflation rate is greater than the expected rate, the economy moves from point A to B along the short-run Phillips curve 1, SPC1, and the unemployment rate would temporarily fall to 2% because the government has gone for an increase in aggregate demand mainly to reduce unemployment in the economy, right? And now this has been achieved, and mainly because the government has gone for the policy in order to reduce unemployment, and as a result of reducing the unemployment, inflation has increased. So we can say that the labor has been deceived. So it is expected that the inflation is 2%, and based on their wage demands on this rate. But the workers eventually begin to realize that the actual rate of inflation is 2%, and now this becomes their expected rate of inflation. So once this happens, the Phillips curve would shift from SPC1 to SPC2. That means the Phillips curve would shift right. Now the workers demand increase in the money wages in order to meet the higher expected rate of inflation of 4%, and they demand higher wages because they consider that the present money wages would be inadequate in real terms in order to meet their purchasing power and all. So we can say that they want to keep with their higher prices in order to eliminate the fall in the real wages. Sorry. So because they want to maintain their past purchasing power in the present as well. So as a result, they demand for higher wages. So here the real labor cost will rise and firms will discharge some workers and unemployment will be rising in the economy to point C. This will move the economy to point C with the shifting of the SPC1 to SPC2, and at point C the natural rate of unemployment would be re-established at a higher rate of both actual and expected inflation. Okay, and now the government is determined to maintain the level of unemployment 2%. That is the main reason why it has gone for new policies in order to increase aggregate demand, right? Now, from point C, the unemployment once again would be reduced to point 2. This has been done in order to increase aggregate demand in the economy. So, this will happen till the point D, and with 2% unemployment and 6% inflation at point D, the expected rate of inflation for workers is 0.4 because that was the one which they were experiencing in the past. So as soon as they adjust their expectations to the new situation of 6% inflation, the short-run Phillips curve shift again to SPC3, the short-run Phillips curve 3, and the unemployment would rise back to the natural level of 3% at point E. Now, if points A, C and E, if you connect all these points, what you could get is the Phillips curve LPC, and that is long run Phillips curve with the natural rate of unemployment. And on this curve, there exists no trade-off between the inflation and unemployment. So it is vertical. You can see that point A, C and E is compatible with the natural rate of unemployment is 3%. And if you go for any reduction in unemployment rate below the natural rate, this would be associated with an accelerating, ultimately explosive inflation. So this is only possible temporarily as long as workers overestimate or underestimate the inflation rate in the economy. And in the long run, the economy is bound to establish the natural unemployment rate. and therefore there exists no trade-off between unemployment and inflation in the long run. Only in the short run there exists a trade-off, and this is because inflationary expectations are revised according to what has happened to inflation in the past. In the figure, you could see that the workers continue to expect 2% rise in inflation for a while, and only in the long run they revise their expectation upwards towards 4%. Since they adapt themselves to expectations, it is known as adaptive expectation hypothesis. As per this hypothesis, the expected rate of inflation will always lag behind the actual rate. But if the actual rate remains constant, the expected rate would be ultimately become equal to it. And this leads to the conclusion that a short-run trade-off exists between unemployment rate and inflation rate, but there is no long-run trade-off between the two unless a continuously rising inflation rate is tolerated. Now, if you go to the criticisms of this, especially this Friedman-Phelps analysis, you would see that the vertical long-run Phillips curve leads to a steady rate of growth of inflation. But this is not a correct view, mainly because the economy is always passing through a series of disequilibrium positions with a greater tendency, little tendency to approach the steady state. Greater tendency is an exception, always it's little tendency. In such a situation, expectation may be disappointed year after year. That's the first criticism. If you go for the theory of expectations augmented Phillips curve, we can see that it is something which is free from the theoretical and statistical bias, but this makes the position unclear, and the vertical long run Phillips curve implies that all the expectations are satisfied and people correctly anticipate the future inflation rates. As per critics, on the other hand, people do not anticipate the inflation very correctly, particularly when some prices are almost certain to rise faster than others, and there are bound to be disequilibria between the supply and demand, which is caused by the uncertainty about the future, and also this is bound to increase the rate of unemployment in the economy. Far from being curing unemployment, a dose of inflation is unlikely. This is not unlikely, this is likely, and it can make some worse kind of situation. And also you can see that if you look at the writings of Friedman, he has himself accepted the possibility that the long run Phillips curve might not be vertical as such, but it could be positively sloped with increasing dose of inflation leading to increasing unemployment. And also some economists have argued that wage rates have not increased at a rate of high level of unemployment, and also workers have a money illusion. They are more concerned with the rate of increasing their money wages rather than their real wages. As per many other economists, the natural rate of unemployment acts as a mere abstraction because Friedman has not tried to define it in concrete terms. And also it could be seen that the long-run Phillips curve is not vertical, but it is negatively sloped. As per Heyman, he says that the unemployment rate can be temporarily reduced if we are prepared to accept an increase in the inflation rate. Now we have to understand what Tobin has told about the Phillips curve. We have to we have already seen the Tobin's approaches with respect to the demand for money. Now we are doing it on, or now we have to understand what Tobin has said when it comes to the Phillips curve analysis. James Tobin, he was actually addressing the American Economic Association in 1971, and during his address he proposed a compromise between the negatively sloping and the vertical Phillips curve, and he believed that there is the Phillips curve within the limits, but as the economy expands and the unemployment grows, the curve would become even more fragile and vanishes until it becomes vertical and at some critically low rate of unemployment. As per Tobin, there exists a kink in the Phillips curve. So the Phillips curve would be kink shaped. A part would be like the normal Phillips curve and the rest would be vertical. This is shown in the figure, and you can see that UC is a critical rate of unemployment at which the Phillips curve becomes vertical, where there is no trade-off between unemployment and inflation. And as per Tobin, the vertical portion of the curve is mainly it is not due to the increase in the demand for wages, but this is mainly resulting from the imperfections in the labor market. And at this critical level, you see, it is not possible to provide more employment because job seekers have they have wrong skills, or wrong age or wrong gender. So they are actually in the wrong place. Regarding the normal portion of the Phillips curve, which is negatively sloping, wages are sticky downward because laborers resist a decline in their likely wages. As per Tobin, there is a wage change floor in excess supply situations in the range of relatively high unemployment to right of UC, I mean the critical level. As the aggregate demand and inflation increase, the involuntary unemployment is reduced and wage floor markers gradually diminish. When all sectors of the economy are above the wage floor, the level of critically low rate of unemployment is reached. Now coming to the view of Solow, like Tobin, Solow also looked into this Phillips curve analysis, and he says that the curve is vertical at positive rates of inflation and horizontal at negative rates. So it's the same as shown in the figure. The base of Phillips curve is that the wages are sticky downward even in the face of heavy unemployment or deflation. But at a particular level of unemployment, when the demand for labor increases, wages rise in the face of expected inflation. But since the Phillips curve becomes vertical at minimum level of unemployment, there is no trade-off between unemployment and inflation. So we can conclude that the vertical Phillips curve has been accepted by a majority of economists, and they agree that at the unemployment rate of 4%, the Phillips curve becomes vertical and the trade-off between unemployment and inflation would disappear. And this is impossible. It is impossible to reduce unemployment mainly below this particular level, mainly because of the market imperfections. If you go to the policy implications of Phillips curve, you can see that it suggests the extent to which the monetary and fiscal policy could be used in order to control inflation and high levels of unemployment. It provides a guideline to the authorities about the rate of inflation, which has to be tolerated if you go for a certain level of unemployment. So for this purpose, it's important to know the exact position of the Phillips curve. If you explain the natural rate of unemployment, if you go to the case of Friedman, he has pointed out that only scope of public policy in influencing the level of unemployment lies in the short run, in keeping with the position of the Phillips curve, and he ruled out the possibility of influencing the long run unemployment case, mainly because of the vertical shape of the Phillips curve. And as per him, the trade-off between the unemployment and inflation does not exist in the long run, and however the rapid inflation might be unemployment always tends to fall back to the natural rate, which is not some irreducible minimum level of unemployment. It could be lowered by removing the obstacle in the labor market by reducing some frictions, and therefore public policy should improve the institutional structure to make the labor market responsive to changing patterns of demand. Moreover, some level of unemployment must be accepted in order to have some reduction in your inflation. So therefore, you can see that the unemployment above the natural rate can be reached at the cost of accelerating inflation. And thus, the government wants to have a genuine full employment level at the natural rate. In order to have this, it must not use a monetary policy to remove institutional restraints, restrictive practices, barriers to mobility, trade union concession, caution, and similar obstacles to both the workers and employers. But the economists do not agree with Friedman. They suggest that it is possible to reduce the natural rate of unemployment through labor market policies, whereby market can be made more efficient. So the natural rate of unemployment can be reduced by shifting the long-run vertical Phillips curve to the left. On the other hand, actually, we could see that the behavior of labor market in a combination of periods of economic fluctuations and varying rates of inflation conditions, which presumably influence the behavior of labor market itself, so that it may reasonably be doubted whether the curve would be continuing to hold its shape if an attempt were made by economic policy to pin the economy down to a point on it. So that's all. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel for more videos. I'm welcoming you to my Telegram group and Telegram channel to discuss your doubts. Thank you for watching.